First of all, my name is Elder James Johnson. I am the state president of National Action Network, which is a civil rights organization. The Reverend Al Sharpton is the national president of National Action Network. First of all, I want to say to the family that the condolences goes out to them, and the family have lost loved ones in this prison. In spite of what the governor might have said, that people are expected to die in prison, this is a tragedy, not 7 people at one time. The burden of this lies at the feet of the warden and the state of South Carolina. For more than 2 hours, this prison warden has allowed inmates to kill and assault each other. 7 dead, 17 injured. We are asking the FBI to conduct a full investigation. National Action Network is asking the warden to step down until this investigation is completed. There has been more death and corruption in this prison than any other prison in the state of South Carolina. We are asking that all prisoners responsible for these deaths be prosecuted to the fullest.
Good morning. I'm Jacqueline Yaden, Director of Operations for South Carolina National Action Network. Under the Freedom of Information Act, the National Action Network is asking for all videos pertaining to this incident. There must be some kind of prison reform here because of what's going on with mass incarceration in the state, or we will continue to have these issues. This prison is responsible for the safety of the inmates. And these inmates does have a constitutional right and needs to be protected as well. We're asking the families of the deceased and the injured to please contact us at area code 843-708-0081.
After the family contact National Action Network, we hopefully will have a press conference here with some families, hopefully to speak out against their family members dying in this prison. We have a pastor here with us who have experienced prison, and he wants to say something about the prison in the state of South Carolina. Pastor Dixon.
Yes, good morning. I'm Pastor Thomas Dixon, and I represent my organization. That's the Coalition, and we work in conjunction with National Action Network, the Coalition People United to Take Back Our Community. And I'm going to touch on a couple of things very briefly. One is that I'm really disappointed in the 16-minute interview or press conference that the governor, the South Carolina Department of Corrections director, and the SLED person had yesterday. For 16 minutes, all they talked about was a problem, which is the cell phone jamming and cell phones in the institution. One thing I know about 17 murders, cell phones didn't do it. Cell phones, there were weapons involved in what did it, and probably prison shanks, knives, what they call them. Now, the operators of these prisons, when a person goes to jail, it's not an automatic death sentence. And those who run the prisons are charged with the protection and safety of those that are under their care. Now, if they had enough knives, prison knives in here to kill 7 and wound 17 more, who's doing the serving and protecting? Where is that at? As Elder Johnson said, I've been in the prison system. I've been out of the prison system since 2001. And in my time in, one of the things that I knew was there was always that element of danger. And when it comes to Lee County has a history of problems. This year, there was another murder. Last year, a couple of murders. I've had inbox messages from different concerned parents and people whose sons are in this place saying the conditions are horrible, health care horrible, broken doors. So we have a problem. We have a problem that needs to be addressed, and we're not going to let the governor, the director of SCDC, continue to just deflect onto the idea of cell phones, okay? That's a problem, and it needs to be handled. We need to handle it right away. But cell phones didn't kill 7 or wound 17. Thank you.
Any questions?
What exactly do you hope to come out of all of this in the end?
Prison reform. One thing, South Carolina is number 3 in the nation in housing people. In any industrial country, we house more people in any country in the world. We hope this is a lesson. The governor has an election coming up. National Action Network itself will be questioning whoever running for governor about prison reform. This will happen again. This went on too long. The warden needs to step down. This prison is his responsibility. It took almost 8 hours to complete a fight. We want to know, is this prison has any practicing for this kind of incidents, fights? We want to know all this. Because, as I said earlier, these 7 deaths lies at the feet of this warden and the state of South Carolina. We want prison reform, and we want it now.
As far as reform goes, what specific things do you think needs to change?
Well, what needs to change in prison reform is that America sentenced prisoners too long. And when you start getting for-profit prison, where some of the people who feed these has linen products buy for this prison are profiting from it. And some of the people here in South Carolina, some of the politicians. And as long as prisons are profitable, this is going to continue. We know in South Carolina almost 75% of prisons are housed by black male. We don't want to make this a racial issue, but it may be a racial issue. Do they really care because they are black? Do they really care? 2.5 hours before the first guard set their foot to try to stop the fight. That is not real. 2.5 hours, a total time of 8 hours, and I'm pretty sure 2.5 to 3 hours before the first guard entered the dorm, the fight probably was over. Bodies was piling up. And I believe there are some innocent people who died in this prison, just got caught up in it. And I don't know what the governor talking about, people die in prison. We know, but not 7 at a time, because the negative of the warden here, it didn't have a plan to stop it.
Touch on that?
As you mentioned, you talked about guards and that kind of deal, about them not coming in time. A lot of the discussion's been about not having enough correctional officers and that kind of deal. Would you like to speak on that?
Well, I'm pretty sure that is a problem. I understand that they do have a shortage. If they start paying them more, they probably will get more people. Evidently, they need to be trained better, because if they had the equipment like water hoses, rubber bullets, they could have stopped a lot of this. But they wait for 2.5 hours before they enter the dorm, and that's not good.
Yeah, when it comes to the officers, the correction officers, I applaud the governor for spending more money, allotting more money for the hiring of employees. But, you know, too much, too little, too late. You know, when we start doing things retroactively, we're not getting ahead of the game. We need to be proactive in this. The previous governor, or the governor before that, should have put things in place in order to make sure that these institutions like this were manned up properly so that everybody could have safety. Okay, we're not going to pat anybody on the back for doing things retroactively. If they're proactive, well and good. Now, what can be done? Rehabilitation. You know, we should, as tax-paying citizens, we should expect that those that are going into our prison system are going to have some sort of rehabilitation done while they're there, instead of just coming in, getting 3 hots in a cot, and being released out in society as a threat to society. Until we start fixing the problem inside the prison, making it available so that when they get out, when those that are in the system get out and stay out and have a way to stand on their feet, we're creating a system an unsafe system out here in society, and all of us are going to be taken advantage of by that. So, and we can close down prisons if we did that, actually, because we'd have people coming out being part of society.
We've heard some of the inmates say that the correctional officers themselves are the problem. You've kind of touched on that a little bit, but have you heard anything about them saying that, or is it what you're talking about?
Well, you know, we have to look at the correctional officer who has did illegal things in prison, especially this one by sneaking cell phones in, also contrabands in, also. I'm pretty sure that there is a shortage of correctional officer, and are they screened? You know, are they trained better? Because some of the problems are coming from them, you know, itself. So I hope this is a wake-up call. I really do. Because if it's not, this will continue.
That's right. That's very true.
Okay. We thank y'all for coming. Before this week out, we may have the family out here speaking out against their loved one death. I'll keep y'all informed on that when it do occur. We know a couple of families in Berkeley County that we're going to be reaching out to. But I'll keep you informed. I'm pretty sure the families have to bury their loved one. And they will be getting in touch with National Action Network very soon on this. Thank y'all for coming. And this is the beginning on what we're planning on doing at this prison. We definitely want this warden to step down. We don't think he needs to be in this prison any longer until this investigation is complete. Thank y'all very much. Okay.
Mr. Dixon, where are you a pastor at?
No longer in a four-wall ministry, but let's just say North Charleston. I'm actually a more street type of a person, a pastor, and not with a Bible, but out here doing what needs to be done in order to show people, you know, that there is a better way, that they can be bigger. You know, I've been to prison. I've run for a political office. I'm currently in a run for mayor of North Charleston next year. And to show those that are incarcerated in particular that they do not have to settle for what society or how society has defined them, that there is a better way.
Thank y'all.